3 years ago, the city of Detroit endured the largest race riot in American history. We decided to sit down with a few citizens to get their perspective of the Detroit riots, commonly referred to as the 1967 Detroit Rebellion.
Rebellion?
The rebellion? We'll never forget it.
I remember like it was yesterday.
I was standing with my homeboy Willie B and Gus on 12th and Claremont at the bus stop a little past midnight, waiting and signifying, digging the scene.
12th Street, tricks and holes on the hustler stroll, staying shy of the big foe. Gray Ghost rolling on pig patrol.
Then we saw the paddy rollers rolling up the wrong way of a one-way street.
Headlights turned off, engine so quiet not making a sound. Squad cars and undercover unmarked device. Extra backup to put the party on ice. All this heat to bust and pop Alabama Reds, hip after hour spot.
The newspapers and television media, white folks and cops, called it a blind pig. But to us, it was just one of a few cool late night joints to keep the party going after the bars and clubs closed their doors for the night. We watched the cops, guns drawn, rush up the stairway and heard them kicking down Red's door shouting, "Freeze, everybody, it's a raid!"
Hustlers, players, tricks, ladies of the night came marching down the stairs with their hands held high in the air. Everybody being shoved and piled into the paddy wagon and being taken to jail.
For a few moments we stood stony like a statue while this eerie silence hung heavy in the atmosphere. Suddenly some brothers pulled up in this old beat up salon wagon and they jumped out and cheerfully said to no one in particular,
"Hey y'all, we heard the pigs just shut down the party. But trust us, the party's just not getting started."
Then without warning, the two of them together picked up this large metal trash basket and casually tossed it through this glass plate door of this men's clothing store that had been on that corner since the turn of the century. After that,
the four faceless brothers nonchalantly strolled back to their vehicles, cruising down Claremont toward Linwood. The laughter is being drowned out by the screams of sirens ringing loudly. Without a pause, into the night.
At first, me and Willie B didn't make a move. We were like shadows in the night, like everybody else. We knew it was a quick opportunity to hit a quick lit and split, but we weren't going to be the first to make that move. But there was no oncoming traffic, no cops, no beat walkers to attend to the burglar alarm screams.
Then it happened. First one brother, then another ventured into the store, and in the moment exited with arms full of clothes. And in that moment, the free-for-all was on.
Me and Willie B and Gus joined the fray, pushing our way through the store to grab whatever we could and running quick to stash our loot.
We were excited. We thought what we had just experienced was just a single phenomenon. We went our separate ways and we made plans to meet the next day.
I was living on Gladstone, only 4 blocks away, and I hurried my way into the crib, sneaking as to not wake anybody up. I jumped into the bed full of adrenaline and eventually fell asleep at daybreak.
The crowd had begun to form, attracted by 8 police cars parked outside and by the shouting and screaming from inside. Rocks and bottles were thrown. And shortly after 6 o'clock, the first store was broken into by the crowd.
A few hours later, my sis was shaking me and calling my name.
I was shaking his shoulder. "Chucky, wake up. Boy, wake up.
What's the matter?
Go look outside. People are going crazy."
I got up and went to the front porch to see what all the commotion was about. And sis was right. People were
hauling things to and fro, carrying all kinds of stuff. I saw old ladies carrying lamps, rugs, and electric fans. Men were carrying television sets and couches and tables. Some were loaded down with food items, clothes, and shoes. And I saw kids with toys looted from the 5 and dime store. It was like a crazy, bizarre circus of people running around like you imagine the end of the world would be. It was my neighborhood, and I knew most of the people.
I saw Reverend Washington and his sons coming out of the hardware store with a ladder, so I knew I had to get what I could. I told Mama I'd be back, and I was going to go check it out. So I ran down the stairs and out the door, and we only lived a few houses down from the corner. I got to 12th Street, I could really see what was going on. I saw people running in and out of stores from West Grand Boulevard to Davidson. Just one out-of-control free-for-all. was unaware of life's consequences, and there was no cops around, or that is until everything worth getting was already got. I ran in and out of markets, grabbing as much food and as much canned goods as I could get. I filled a milk crate up with canned goods to bring home back to my mama, my brother, and my sisters.
I told him to go back out and search for more food. I mean, I had a house full of hungry children. We had to do what we had to do. We had to survive.
I was lucky to find some food, some canned goods, some bags of rice, some canned beans. But when I came back home,
I couldn't let him go back out there. He could have gotten hurt or even killed.
We stayed in and watched it on television. We could see the people all over Detroit were doing the same thing. After a while, you saw burning buildings and smoke-filled skies. It was thrilling to be living in the epicenter of rebellion. That was the first day, and it felt like a party. But when the National Guard showed up, things got ugly. Nightfall brought out neighborhood snipers who targeted National Guard troops, sheriff deputies, state police, and city cops. Before it was over, at least 40 people were dead.
The National Guardsmen were all over the place, and we got caught away from home. They had the National Guard hurting people around, actually. You can only go several different places, and we were trying to get home.
I was walking through Dearborn, and I got stopped by the police. They called 15 cars, and they all surrounded me like I'm a criminal. They would do things like empty your car out, take everything and throw it all out on the street. Just tear your car up and leave. And that was them being nice.
Quite a few people got shot. Every week somebody was getting shot in the back. It was just brutal.
they were known for beating us.
No one really knows the true body count, because in war, the real numbers are always hidden. I remember this little girl who lived in an apartment building on 12th and Euclid. She was shot through the window when her mother lit a candle because the power was out.
Hundreds have been displaced by the apartment building fires. Nearly every neighborhood store and gas station was closed. All the drugstores, most of the restaurants, beauty salons, barbershops, they're all gone. People were scarred, scared, and hungry, and tired. A lot of
Dreams and people's hopes were burnt up in all those fires.
After martial law ended, we moved off Gladstone and back to the North End and did what people do to heal and mend.
I was there.
I was there.
Detroit will never be the same.
Police brutality. Will we progress? Depends on what side of the coin you're on.